There is a version of you that wins this week and a version that loses it. The difference is not talent. It is not luck. It is one quiet decision you will make over and over in the dark when no one is watching. Welcome to the Two Paths Challenge. This is week one. What's discipline, the inner battles of control and responsibility. Here is the whole map before we walk it. Every day, in 100 small ways, you stand at a fork. One path is chaos. The other is clarity. Chaos is the reactive path. It lets your mood drive. It lets the world decide who you are. Clarity is the iron path. You take the controls back. You answer for your own choices. This week is 7 doorways, and each one asks the same question: chaos or clarity? Let us start where every day starts. You wake up. Before your feet hit the floor, the negotiation begins. The room is dark. The bed is warm. A voice offers you 10 more minutes and calls it rest. It is not rest. It is the first small surrender of the day. And small surrenders compound. This is the first threshold, and it is not out in the world. It is in your own mind the second you open your eyes. The path of chaos hits snooze and lets comfort dictate the next 16 hours. The path of clarity moves before the mind can build its case. You put your feet on the cold floor. You get up. No one applauds. There is no crowd for the man who simply rises. But that is exactly why it counts. You did not do it for them. You did it because you said you would. That is formation over motivation. And it is the ground everything else is built on. Now understand why the Stoics obsessed over this small moment. They drew a hard line down the middle of your life. On one side, the things you do not control: the weather, other men, the paces, the number on the screen. On the other side, the only territory that is truly yours: your judgments, your effort, your response. The whole discipline of a strong life is learning to pour yourself into your side of that line and to stop bleeding energy over the other. Waking up on purpose is the first rep of that discipline. You are training your mind to obey your values instead of your comfort. The world will test it fast. Day 2, someone says the thing that lands wrong. In a quarter second, the heat is already climbing your neck. The path of chaos lets one sentence run your whole day. It fires back on instinct. It replays the moment for hours, and it calls that strength. It is not strength. It is a man handing the controls to a stranger. Think about that. You let one careless comment from someone you may never see again write the next 12 hours of your inner life. Who is in charge there? The path of clarity finds the gap. Between what happens to you and how you answer, there is a space. It is small, maybe 5 seconds. But it belongs to you, and it is where your freedom lives. Your character is not revealed by what you feel when you are provoked. Feeling the heat is human. Your character is revealed in those 5 seconds before you speak. Train that gap, and no single sentence from another man can take your peace. Feel the heat. Take the gap. Choose your response like a free man. This is the same muscle as the alarm clock. Both are about the space between the urge and the action. Chaos closes that space to zero. It is pure reaction. Clarity pries it open and puts you back in the driver's seat. So when the alarm sounds, do not debate it. When the insult lands, do not fire. Same discipline. 2 doorways. By day 3, you learn the hard truth about how this works. The days that shape you are not the loud ones. There is no applause for getting up at 5. No one sees you choose the honest response instead of the cheap one. The work is quiet and it is invisible, and that is precisely why it builds a man. Discomfort is the price of entry, and you pay it on purpose, in private. The path of chaos needs an audience to perform. The path of clarity does the right thing in an empty room. Because you are not building a highlight reel. You are building a foundation, and foundations are poured underground where no one looks. Then comes the task you keep avoiding. Day 4, you know the one. The tab you keep closing, the call you keep pushing. The path of chaos calls it later. It scrolls, it tidies the easy things. It stays busy enough to feel productive, while the real weight sits untouched. Hear this clearly. Motion is not progress. You can move all day and go nowhere. The path of clarity does the opposite. It starts with the burden while it is still heavy, while you still do not feel ready. Because here is the thing almost no one tells you. You will not feel your way into action. You act, and the feeling follows. Courage is not the absence of reluctance. It is doing the thing while the reluctance is still in the room. Set a timer. 10 minutes on the hard thing right now before the day fills up with reasons. Day 5 takes you to the barbell, but the lesson is about your whole life. Hands on cold iron, and the last rep is the one that matters. The path of chaos drops the weight the moment it feels like enough. It chases the number, the finish, the proof, and it quits the second the growth actually begins. But you were never built by the easy reps. Growth happens in the struggle, not the victory. The victory is just the receipt. So here is the shift that changes everything. Stop measuring the outcome. Pour yourself into the action. The result is never fully in your hands. The effort always is. This is the dividing line again, made physical. You do not control whether you win. You control whether you gave everything to the rep in front of you. Give that and let the rest take care of itself. Which brings us to day 6 in the great enemy of a disciplined life, the excuse. A number comes back lower than you hoped, and the story writes itself. The economy, the timing, the people who let you down. The path of chaos reaches for the excuse because the excuse feels like relief. It is not relief. It is a quiet agreement to stay stuck. You cannot control the wind. You never could. The path of clarity stops fighting the wind and sets the sails. It trades the easy question for the hard one. Not whose fault is this, but what is my next honest move? Own the choices that are yours. Map the one step in front of you and take it. Stop looking for an excuse and start looking for your duty. The wind will do what it does. The sails are yours. And now, day 7. Look back. A week ago, you stood at a threshold, and today you stand at another one. Every doorway is a small decision about who walks through it. The path of chaos enters every room, the same man who left the last one, carried by momentum and mood, reacting to whatever waits on the other side. The path of clarity pauses in the frame. It takes one breath and decides, on purpose, how to show up. Here is what happened this week, whether you felt it or not. 7 mornings of getting up, of taking the gap, of doing the quiet work no one saw, of starting with the weight, of fighting for the last rep, of trading excuses for duty. None of them felt heroic, not one. But that is the secret the loud world will never understand. A man is not forged in the dramatic moment. He is forged in the accumulation of small, unwatched choices, stacked one on top of another until they become a spine. So here is the core truth of week 1, and I want you to carry it into everything ahead. Discipline is not punishment. It is not white knuckles and gritted teeth. Discipline is simply the daily practice of taking responsibility for the one territory that is actually yours. Your response, your effort, your next honest move. The world outside that line will do what it does. Your job is to own everything inside it. That is the whole game. Master that space, and you are free in a way no circumstance can touch. You are not the same man who started this week. Cross the next threshold like you mean it. If this is landing, do not let it stay a video you watched. Step through the door, go to door.ironstrengthens.in and pick up the free 2 Paths Field Guide. It carries this week into your hands on paper so you can walk it and not just hear it. The path of clarity is the same today as it was this morning. Choose it, and I will see you in week 2.